In order to teach the mind to become more consciously aware, you will find that the five senses can bring you back into your heart space. And the heart space is basically the commander in chief of the body. The body is where you will find your present awareness. In order to create a new experience in the life journey, we have to know what mindsets we have accumulated over time, which have possibly become blockages or stagnancy to our expansion and keeping us from creating the life that we want. So, in this, I'm going to explain the first sense, which is sight or the eyes. I'm going to explain the physical side of how to use sight to become more consciously aware. And then I'm going to explain the spiritual side, which is the part that will help you retrain and to create new thought processes. So now, if you would, choose something in your environment to focus in on with your sight. Just choose one thing and try to really hone in on the colors, the shapes, any movement it might make, the vibrancy, and just what your mind thinks of as it's focused in on this object. Are the colors dull? Are they bright? Are they vibrant? Does it move? What are the shapes? Is there curvatures? Does it remind you of anything else? So spend about 30 seconds really looking at that object and telling yourself the details about it. How many lines do you see? How many circles do you see? How many repeating patterns do you see? Does it have a smooth surface? Does it have a rough surface? What you're doing is training your sight to clearly see the environment. And you're teaching your eyes to focus in on the present environment, to be more consciously aware of what it is you're actually looking at. You are teaching your mind to be detail oriented about the environment around you. When it's doing this, it's not in the past and it's not in the future. You are in the present moment. The more you do this, the more natural it becomes. And every time we connect to the present moment, we are connecting to our heart space. I personally use this technique a lot throughout the entire day. I do it when I'm waiting in line somewhere or when I'm just really have some time where I'm just standing around. This is a method that expands your mind to pick up on more details than perhaps it had previously done. So the more your vision is aligned with the present moment, the more you learn to see. All of our senses have a physical side and a spiritual side. And if you can train both of the senses to harmonize, it creates almost like a superpower. So I will now explain the spiritual side of sight or the eyes is to visualize or to envision. So on the physical side, we use our physical senses to create expansion in our conscious awareness. The spiritual side is filling in that space with what we're choosing. So when we're spiritually using our sight, we are creating a new vision for ourselves. Another way to look at that could be to create a new mindset through our visualization. This takes a little more dedicated effort because you have to be in a place where you can focus in on what it is you're wanting to visualize. And that becomes easier where you can do that just about anywhere. But typically in the beginning, when we're really concentrating our efforts on what it is we're wanting to envision, we need concentrated effort to do so. So let's say you're wanting to create a new mindset and you have realized that you have a lot of self-doubt, for instance. So to overcome self-doubt, you would want to basically replace that with maybe self-confidence or self-belief. So if you would close your eyes and visualize yourself in an environment where you are able to be confident and stand proud, you are able to stand tall with your shoulders square. During the visualization, it's best to have your body mimic the feeling. So straighten your spine with your eyes closed and feel what it feels like to be confident and strong in yourself. Visualize your environment in the way of whatever it is that you're wanting to see for yourself. Let's say you're, for instance, being celebrated in some way for some efforts you've made, and you feel proud and you feel strong, and pull that feeling into your body. How that feels to have your spine straight and your shoulders back, and see in your mind what you look like in that environment. I personally will visualize very big circumstances. For instance, not just that I completed something and I'm joyous about it, but like the whole world is celebrating whatever it is that I'm doing. And it's not that I'm trying to create that true scenario, but what I'm trying to do is create the feeling of the overall accomplishment. If I can create it large, when it happens in a smaller way, my mind has the perception of it. As long as I have created some type of program within my mind, then my awareness can tune into the accomplishment of it. So when you do your visualizations, go bigger, don't go small, because if your accomplishments are bigger, a lot of times they will escape your awareness. So then what happens is when you do accomplish something, you actually minimize the degree of that accomplishment. So use your visualization or your spiritual sight to really see something big for yourself. Your visualization, it doesn't have to be realistic. It's not that you're truly creating that true scenario. What you're doing is you're creating the possibility of the feeling of it. If our mind has no contrast and no programming of a certain situation, we do not have the awareness of it actually happening. So this is the first sense to help you tap into your heart space. And as you work with the two, they will begin to harmonize together. And the physical will make space for the spiritual. The spiritual will create a new program for a new experience. The more you're able to practice this, the easier it gets. It becomes very natural, actually, to do this without any effort at all. The hope and the idea is that you consciously become aware enough that these patterns or these thought processes become unconscious. So yes, we're trying to become unconscious. When I say unconscious, I mean it becomes natural. It's a very natural way of just being. In the next section, I will discuss hearing or the ears. I figure it's best to break them up as to not overwhelm the senses. Until next time, I wish you well.